Let me show you my indoor gardening space that I have set up so far this year. And I know these look horrible, but they're supposed to. I'll explain in a minute. But here are the peppers. It's Monday morning. I did not come over the weekend, and we had some sun outside. When it's sunny, even if it's cool outside, this gets pretty warm. So they're a little wilty. I'm going to go ahead and water them. So this is a newly sprouted pumpkin. And is it a good idea to grow this inside? Absolutely not. But we do activities with pumpkins. The kids make pumpkin pie. They learn how to roast the pumpkin seeds around Thanksgiving every year. And one of my students asked if he could plant one of the seeds. And I said, sure. Pumpkins get really large. I am not sure how I'm going to manage this pumpkin through the winter. I do have grow tents, but even at that, I think it's going to get so big that it won't fit in the grow tent. So I haven't decided what to do. I could move the peppers into the grow tent, but I'm not sure. So we'll see. They're not pumpkins that I grew myself. They're pumpkins that I got from our local farm stand, and they're likely cross-pollinated. So I don't know what kind of fruit will grow on this plant, but it'll still be fun just to grow it. If a kid wants to grow something, I mean, we're gonna grow it. So these are the tomatoes we have, and they are super leggy. They have been, I mean, there's the windows, there's that little grill light. It's actually not plugged in and set up. I was just trying to figure out a way to do it, and I haven't yet. But these guys are just stretching to see the sun. So I need to deal with this. This guy needs a cage, but I only have 4 of these this year so far. 4 tomatoes. I mean, poor little guys. It's been really busy, and I have not had a chance to properly deal with them. So these are really not big enough pots either, in all reality. They might stay in there, I don't know. One of the problems I had last year was I did not choose a determinate variety of tomato or like a small variety, and these guys actually grew taller than the grow lights. These green beans were planted September 9th. We kept track. They germinated the 14th. And then the kids did eat some of the beans, and the rest of them are staying on the plants so that they can fully mature, and then we can replant the seeds. I wanted them to see a complete life cycle of a plant, and since beans are pretty quick to grow, they were a good choice. So that's why these are so horrible looking. But they grew really well. What I did was I had them in here on nice sunny days. They would go outside, and then they'd come back in the evenings because beans do not like it cool. But in September, October, we had nice enough weather that there were many days they could just be outside. This one's getting close. Starting to dry out. In the next replanting, what we're going to do is we're going to actually eat most of them and not let them mature. And these were just planted in water jugs with little slots in the bottom. Nothing fancy, but it worked great. So I did have lettuce going, but it failed hard. It gets too warm with that little alcove of windows. I'm going to replant, but I thought I'd show you. Not everything is a success. I do have another area that's just like this, but it's cooler because the sun is not in the mid-afternoon over here. I have a small tent in here back behind this grow house. That's so when the temperatures drop in the night, the peppers don't die, because they would be dead by now if I didn't have some sort of heat source in here. So the potatoes that I've been storing in the house in the spare room are starting to sprout. It's just not cool enough in here. So I'm going to go ahead and plant some of these guys. I have to be really careful not to break off the sprouts on a couple of these, but I'm going to go ahead and give them a go on those long guys. Last year, I grew some potatoes just right over here in front of the window. They did not do well. They got really long and scraggly. And then when we actually harvested them, there were not a lot of potatoes in the bag. Nothing like what we normally get when we harvest potatoes in the summer months. So it wasn't ideal for them. I'm a little concerned in the grow room that they'll get too warm. They get a little warm, And so it's wonderful for peppers and tomatoes. I don't even have to have a little heater. It takes care of that. Inside here, it stays nice and toasty. I do have another area that doesn't get quite as warm from the sun. The other grow tent that I have, I might put the potatoes in there with this grow light because it doesn't get as hot. So I'm kind of like not sure how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get those potatoes planted right away so they don't, you know, so that they don't all have those big long shoots growing off of them. I like to get them in the ground a little before that, but we could just pop those off and eat the potatoes. But with the kids, it's really fun to experiment. And also, I like to have a food source during the winter. It's kind of cool. Potatoes take a long time to mature, but still, well, they'll be ready by spring, and they couldn't be ready outdoors by spring in the wintertime. So it's fun. It's worth it. I don't actually have planters ready for these, so I'm going to put them in here where they'll just get a little bit actual direct sun or indirect sunlight, because in the bedroom they were in, it was pretty dark. So I'm just going to place these in here, and then maybe after school today I'll have time to look for something to put those in, and hopefully I can share with you next week how the potatoes are doing. But for today, that's all I've got. So until next time, see ya.